In this video, I'm going to teach you how to factor trinomials using the crisscross method. Our first problem is x squared plus x minus 20. To solve this using the crisscross method, we must first draw ourselves a crisscross. Here and here, I want to find two things that multiply to get me to an x squared, two terms. In this case, x times x multiplies together to get me to an x squared. At this end of my crisscross, I want to find two numbers that multiply to get me to a 20. 4 and 5. Once I found two terms, x times x, to get me to my x squared, and over here, 4 times 5 to get me to my 20, I then want to draw myself a couple little arrows to show now that I'm actually going to take and go x times 5 is equal to 5x. I'm just multiplying down and up my arrows. So over here I say x times 4 is 4x. When I get to this point, I want to see how I can make a 4x and a 5x equal a positive x. We have a negative 4x plus a 5x. That gives me a positive x. Now that this matches this, I know that my two signs are right. And I can take this plus sign and write it in right here. And I can take this minus sign and write it in right there. So my trinomial now factors to be x minus 4 times x plus 5. X plus 5. I'm going to show you another problem using the exact same method so we can get the hang of it. Our next trinomial is going to be 4x squared minus 8x minus 21. To factor this using the crisscross method, we want to draw ourselves in a crisscross. We want to find two numbers now that multiply to get us to a 4x squared, which in our case, 2x times 2x gets us to a 4x squared. On this end, I want to find two numbers that multiply to get me to a 21. 7 times 3 gets me to my 21. Now if you remember from our last example, we drew in an arrow here and an arrow here, and we multiplied across down our arrows. 2x times 3 is a 6x, and a 2x times 7 is a 14x. I need to know how to make a 14x and a 6x now equal a minus 8x. If I make my 14 negative and I make my 6 positive, minus 14x plus 6x is a minus 8x. And once this number right here matches this number right here, I know that I now have got my signs right. And I'm going to take this sign, bring it on over, and write it right there. And I'm going to take this minus sign, bring it on over, and write it right there. So now I just factored 4x squared minus 8x minus 21 to be 2x minus 7 times 2x plus 3. And that there is my factor term. I'm now going to erase this. We've seen the crisscross method work. I'm going to show you what happens when you put the wrong numbers in and what to do to fix it. Our next problem is going to be 3x squared plus x minus 2. I'm going to draw myself in a crisscross. And now I'm looking for two numbers to multiply to get me to a 3x squared, which is 3x and x. Here, I'm going to find two numbers that multiply to get me to a 2. And I'm going to choose the wrong ones just to show you what you can do to fix that problem. I'm going to say 1 and 2. 1 times 2 gets me to that 2. At this point, I draw my arrows, and I say 3x times 2, multiplying at our arrows. 3x times 2 is a 6x. X times 1 is an x. Is there any way I can make an x and a 6x add or subtract to equal to a positive x? In this case, there is no way I can make a 6x and an x add or subtract to get me to a positive x. So I know that these two numbers are wrong. And the way we can fix that is we can flip them. So instead of writing 1, 2, I'm now going to change these numbers and write 2, 1. And I can now multiply 3x times 1 is a 3x. X times 2 is a 2x. And now I can look to see how I can make a 2x and a 3x equal a positive x. I know to make my 3 positive and my 2 negative, because minus 2x plus 3x is my positive x. Now that this matches this, I know that my two signs are correct. I can take this plus sign, draw it right there. I can take this minus sign, bring it on over, and put it right in the middle there. So now I factor this trinomial to be 3x minus 2 times x plus 1. And that right there is my final answer. If you want me to post any other videos, please post a comment and let me know. Thanks.